Hey, well, I want to welcome you all, folks, to Godstream News. I'm Sherman Ray. I'm your host today on the show. This is our weekend edition. This will actually be our first weekend edition show, so I want to welcome you all to the broadcast today. Godstream News brought to you by SRayMedia Group, and we hope that you've been getting something out of this. Been trying to get a show up for quite a while that would reflect, who we are as an organization, as a ministry. And so this is it. So we're very excited about it. So I want to apologize early on because we got no graphics today. So the only graphic I got right now, it looks like, is my lower third, but that's all right. So we want to bring you some news today in the Biden White House. So President Biden's Title IX guidance. This is a story out of, who's bringing this story out? Catherine Grip is she's a writer, local writer. She said in the past 2 weeks, the two U.S. district judges blocked the Department of Education's new Title IX rules that would require schools to consider sexual orientation and gender identity as protected from discrimination. The ruling applies to 10 states. This is a big victory for women and girls because the Title IX revisions being pushed by the Biden administration would have ended sex-based protections for biological women in locker rooms, bathrooms, sports, and elsewhere. Plain and simple, West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrisey said in a statement, "This is a retreat, from the progress women have made." And we've seen this in the last number of, matter of fact, the last year or so, where transgender men have been joining women's sports more and more and more. And as a result of that, we are seeing records being broken, and not only records being broken, but women being hurt competing against men. We've had women and have been complaining an awful lot about this, saying, look, Title IX, which was a landmark decision, landmark legislation that was put into effect, which basically protected women in sports. It allowed women to have an equal access to sports that was at that point is only enjoyed by men. But then now it seems like, since this whole woke revolution has come upon us, that men have this transgender men who identify as women or just dress like them, or maybe even just feel like it at that day, claim to be women, and the mandate has been by the Biden administration to allow those men to go in, those men who say they're women. And Leah Thompson is one of those who has broken all kinds of women's records. And this is just kind of crazy. So the High Court basically said, nope, we're not going to allow this, that the Biden administration has been thwarted again. There was a story, our next story is about from Newsmax, and it says that Trump is to address evangelicals who want national abortion. And this is going to be very interesting. Up till this point, former President Trump has said that he would not jump into the discussion about abortion as a national thing. We know that Roe v. Wade was struck down by the Dobbs decision just about a year ago, a little over a year ago, I guess it would be. Actually, no, it was a couple of years ago. But Democrats have been up in arms because that's the one thing they run for. But former President Donald Trump on Saturday urged evangelicals to get out and vote in an election that has him neck and neck with President Joe Biden. The evangelicals and the Christians, they don't vote as much as they should, Trump told the audience at the Faith and Freedom Coalition meeting in Washington, D.C. They go to church every Sunday, but they don't vote. And this is true. Many pastors have said, and many people who keep stats on those stuff say that if you look at any congregation, you'll probably see about 20% of the people that are actually even registered to vote. So this is a very scary trend. But imagine what would happen if you had 50%, even 30% of Christians voting, what the outcomes of these races would be. those of you, this might be your first time watching the show. I'm Sherman Ram, your host here at Godstream News. We are a Christian platform. If you go to our website at godstream.org, you can check out all kinds of really cool content, from videos to of music to all kinds of really cool stuff on this site. We also have channels. And if you go to godstream.org and you go to the news channel, you can actually check out Godstream, the Godstream News channel. So we hope you will do that. A story about the Daily Caller. Ex-TMZ personality says black voters shifting to Trump because he represents the American dream. Very interesting article. Former TMZ personality Van Lathan on Friday said that one reason black voters are backing former President Donald Trump is because he embodies the American dream. CNN senior data reporter Harry Etten on Monday said Trump is careening towards a historic performance among black voters as polls suggest President Joe Biden is hemorrhaging support among young African Americans. Another former CNN host, Don Lemon, on the Don Lemon Show, said Trump represents what people would like to say and like to have. Lathan concurred, noting that even some of the brothers that we see celebrating Trump appreciate the former president for this reason. And I would assume that also there was a connection point that just happened recently when in New York State, in Manhattan, a Manhattan trial room, that former President Donald Trump was convicted of 34 counts of whatever. We don't even know what really was, but what it amounted to was a railroading, trumped up charges brought against a man who is doing nothing but trying to make what he believes America better. And a lot of black folks see that and they connected with that, saying, yeah, we feel the same way he does, is that we're just trying to get along in life and we're getting shot down by the man. And in this case, the man would be the Democrat Party. And so Mr. Lathan here is saying that, you know what, that there's going to be a historic shift in the black vote because black voters empathize with the former president of the United States. Very interesting stuff. There was a story by SRN News that the Teamsters president will speak at the RNC convention. This is very interesting. Chapin, South Carolina, the president of the Teamsters Union, is set to speak at next month's Republican National Convention as Donald Trump angles to chip away at President Joe Biden's support among the blue-collar workers who are expected to play a major role in the general election, particularly in crucial Midwestern states like Wisconsin and Michigan. In a post on his Truth Social platform, Trump said that Sean O'Brien had accepted his invitation to speak at the RNC convention in Milwaukee. Now we see a monumental shift, a seismic shift here. The Teamsters, who are definitely they're very political, they are non-conservative, and yet they are due to speak at the RNC convention, which is wild. Should the Democrats be worried? Should they be very worried that what is going on right now is they see a splitting of their party? The black vote, which was historically voting, they started out as Republicans and then they shifted over to the Democrat Party. Now it looks like there's a major shift, at least in black men, that are saying we are going to vote for Donald Trump, for the Republican Party, because they represent what we want in life. And now you see the Teamsters who are saying, hey, we see the value of what's going on too. We've watched our livelihoods being taken away by the Democrat Party, and we want to see a change for the better. Wow, amazing. Another story at SRN News. The UN says it's up to Israel to restore order in Gaza for aid. This is a story out of Reuters. It is Israel's responsibility as an occupying power in the Gaza Strip to restore public order and safety in the Palestinian territory so humanitarian aid can be delivered, the United Nations said on Friday. UN Secretary General Anthony Guterres said there is as total lawlessness in Gaza, where the UN has warned a famine looms for the population of 2.3 million after more than 8 months of war between Israel and Palestinian militants in Hamas. Most of the trucks with humanitarian aid inside Gaza are now looted, Guterres told reporters on Friday, adding that Israel prevented the UN from using Palestinian civil police for aid security. There's a total chaos in Gaza, and there is no authority in most of the territory. Now, this is very interesting, and this is something that the IDF and the leadership in Israel said. They said that you send in humanitarian aid to the folks in Gaza, and it is looted. It is something they have no control over, because Hamas, who the Palestinian folks in Gaza elected as their governing body, they don't care about peace. All they care about is killing Jews. And they use the Palestinians in that area as human shields. They use their homes as places where they can set up military camps. And now what you're seeing is, when humanitarian relief has gone in, that they loot their own trucks. No other warring factions, save the United States, have done more to try to mitigate the number of people and the carnage and the displacement of people than has Israel to the people who live in Gaza. They, ahead of where they're going to attack, to clear out the Hamas militants who've been trying to kill the Israelis, they have Israel has dropped leaflets. They've told them to leave these areas, and they've told them in what direction they're going to be coming and which way they're going to search for Hamas, and the upwards of 120 hostages which are still being held by Hamas. They told them, look, we will get these people out of here. We will get rid of Hamas, but you must leave. And now, as we're saying, the UN is saying, well, Israel's got to try to make peace with these folks here and try to restore order. Well, it's very hard when you don't have the full backing of the United States, you don't have the full backing of the UN or any neighboring states who want Israel pushed into the sea. And that's where we find ourselves right now. We want to welcome the folks who have just joined us. I'm Sherman Ray. I'm the host of Godstream News, and I want to welcome you all to the broadcast today. We talk about news and views and opinions from about local or national and global issues from a decidedly Christian perspective. And we encourage you to go to our website at Godstream.org. That's Godstream, all one word, .org, and go to where it says channels at the top, and you can go directly to our news channel and get to Godstream News. And we just started airing. This is our third show. This is our first weekend show, so we want to welcome you all to the show. And we all encourage you, if you're on our YouTube channel and you're watching this, to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Help us develop a following that we hope that will make it easier for us to get the news out. And also, if you would like to be a part of our team here at Godstream News, just to write us at godstream7@gmail.com. That's godstream7@gmail.com, and let us know that you want to be a part of the team. And we'd love to have more and more people to be a part of the team so that we can actually get more and more quality news out to our fan base. Just a few more stories here. This was a great story. The Christian Post put out an article about archaeologists finding the earliest text of apocryphal gospel detailing Jesus' childhood and miracles. This was very interesting. An ancient piece of papyrus sourced from Egypt with the word Jesus written in Greek letters was uncovered in a university library in Germany and is believed to be the oldest surviving copy of a writing detailing Jesus Christ's childhood. Wow. Researchers from Humboldt University of Berlin and the University of Liège, Belgium, have identified the fragment they say is the earliest surviving copy of the infancy gospel of Thomas, an apocryphal gospel about Jesus' youth that is considered Gnostic in origin. Now let me back up a little bit. And basically what it is the canon of Scripture. What we see as the canon of Scripture, what you see as your normal Bible, was put together by a council, the Council of Nicaea. And when that council put these 66 books of the Bible together, they said that these were what we believe are the canon of Scripture. These are the accepted books of the Bible. And that's not to say that there weren't other books of the Bible written, or books at that time which were considered holy books. But they were the most reliable sources that they could trace back. And so now what we see is that the infancy gospel of Thomas was evidently not accepted, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So this is very exciting, interesting news that they might have found a piece of writing that described what Jesus' childhood was like. I would love to read that. Fox News had an article. Former Obama mega fundraiser announced support for Trump with a powerful message. This was very interesting. A powerful former Obama fundraiser says she's divorcing the Democrat Party, voting for Trump for the first time. Her name is Allison Huynh, Huynh, said she is selling her Obama-inspired $1 million collectible after growing disenchanted with the Democrats. Now, many of you probably saw this interview where the San Francisco-based fundraiser for former President Barack Obama said that basically that the party has left her, and we continue to hear this over and over again. And she had one of those oil-based, one of those Leroy Neiman type posters of Barack Obama. And evidently it was worth about $1 million, and she said she's selling it. She's done with it. And no longer will she vote for the Democrat Party. She is voting for the Republican Party. In one part of the interview that we saw of her, she said that she can't even walk to the downtown district in San Francisco with her daughters without stepping over homeless people, drug addicts, and that the rule underneath the Democrat Party, which she had been a part of for quite a number of years, has become something that she cannot live with. And I think many, many people feel the same way. Just a few more articles here, folks. I want to make sure we get these in before we finish up the day. This is our last one. This is from the Conservative Review, Blaze Media. And many of you have heard about the Independent Women's Forum Group. According to this article by Julio Rosas, the pro-women's group's tour bus was vandalized for wanting to protect women's sports. And this goes back to the Title IX story we led off the show with. The Independent Women's Forum revealed on Friday the bus its members have been using for their Take Back Title IX Summer 2024 tour bus tour has been vandalized by suspected pro-transgender radicals who stopped in Chapel Hill, or while it was stopped in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. The Take Back Title IX Summer 2024 bus tour is to commemorate the final annual celebration of the landmark sex equality law before the unlawful rewrite by the Biden administration before it upends Title IX, as we have all known it to become. The new regulations strip away all sex-based protections in education, undermine women's rights, and require schools to allow males who self-identify as women into women's spaces, opportunities, and athletics, according to the Our Bodies, Our Sports Coalition. So evidently their bus was defaced. It was egged with profanity written all over it, and anti-women messages were written all over it. Radical transgender ideologues on a mission to erase womanhood seek to keep us quiet. We won't back down, one of the spokespeople said. Women won't be silent, the IWF, or the Independent Women's Forum, said while sharing videos on the vandalism. Now, this is amazing, folks, that women have fought for so long to have a voice in the public square, and what has happened over the last few years is that they've been stripped from it. They've just lost all of their rights, and their opportunities by men, and not just by men, but specifically the Biden administration, and that's very scary. I want to thank you all for being a part of the broadcast today. I'm Sherman Ray, and this is Godstream News. We want to thank you all for being a part of the broadcast today, and hope that you will join us again next week when we come back to you and talk to you more about what's going on in the world of nationally and internationally from a Christian perspective. This has been Sherman Ray. We'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.